In this video, we're going to look at the steps you need to follow to set up your email marketing software. Now, the website we're going to use is a company called GetResponse. I've put the link for you underneath this video. So you'll need to click on that link and that will bring you to this page. And what we want to do is actually try the software for free. So we click on the Try It for Free button. And that will bring you to here. So all you need to do is start a free trial. You need to enter your email address, a password and your first name and click create an account, and you will be sent an email by GetResponse with all of your login details. So if you want to do that first, then when you've received the email, then you'll want to look at the next part of this video. When you've received the email from GetResponse, you'll need to click an activation link in that email, and when you've clicked that, it will bring you to this page here. And the first thing you need to do from this page is, as it says at the top, to finish your account setup, please complete your account details. So you click on there and then add in your various information on this page just to complete the account details, and then click the update button. Once you've updated those details, you're brought back to this page here again, and what we need to do now is create a campaign. Now the best place to do that is up here. It will say your current campaign, and one will have just been created by the system, but we're not going to use that one. We're going to click on this small down arrow here and go for create campaign, and that will bring us to this page here. So the first thing we need to do is give our campaign a name. This is going to be a campaign we're setting up for the prize draw, so it can actually be anything in here. It does, as it says on the right hand side here, it can only be between 3 and 64 characters, and it's got to be in lowercase. There can be numbers or there can be underscores, and that is what it has to be, following one of those formats. So you could call it, for example, whatever your restaurant name is, your restaurant prize draws. Oh, I've left a space there. You could, if you want to, use an underscore button just like that. So we created that, and then press the button to create new campaign. The next thing we need to do is edit the campaign settings. So to get to that place, we just need to click on this link here, and then that loads all the current settings and brings you into this page. So on this page, it gives the campaign name at the top. That's what you've just decided to call this particular campaign. You can edit that if you want to. Your campaign language, I assume you'll leave as is. Notifications, this is if you want to receive an email every time somebody signs up for your list, then you will receive an email. If this is turned on here, you can turn it off or you can turn it on. If it's turned on, then the notification emails will be sent to the email address that's in here. This will be the one that you've signed up with. If you want to change this and add a new email address, you can click here and actually enter a new email address for these to be sent to. You just need to bear in mind that you will be sent one every time somebody signs up or enters your prize draw. So if you're getting 200, 300, 500, 1,000 people sign up, that's how many emails you'll get through the system. So you may want to turn this off. Alternatively, you may like to start with this turned on and then change your mind later. You can always log into this page and change this if you want to, but I'll leave that turned on for now. A postal address, this is the address that is shown at the bottom of every email that goes out. This would normally be your restaurant name and address. If you want to change what comes up here, again, this would be what you set when you open your account. This is a demo one that I've actually just had set up. So you may want to have your restaurant name, address, and postcode, etc. For the format, just choose the EU format. That's just how it is displayed at the bottom. And then click on the Save button. Oh, it didn't like that. So let's put Derbyshire. And then we save that. So that is all there is need to be done on the General tab. Clicking on the Profile tab, there's nothing you need to do here. If you want to give your campaign a title, again, these are just information for yourself. We could just call it Prize Draw Entry or something like that. So you click on the Save button. These are just details for you, so if you've got a number of these different campaigns set up here, you can see them, but for what we're looking at, you'll only need one of them, so it's not quite so drastic. And the same with these other items underneath here. Campaign description, if you want to give it a description you can, if you want to upload a logo you can, but for our use none of these will be seen, so I don't think that's anything too drastic to deal with. And so also we click on the Permission tab here. And what we need to decide on this page is whether people will have to confirm their opt-in to your list. Now, what this means is when they've entered your prize draw, they will receive an email from GetResponse. If you are having confirmed opt-in, they will need to click a link in that email to say they agree, they wanted to enter your competition, and they want to be added to your list within GetResponse. So it's just an extra step that people have to take before they'll be added to your list. It's entirely up to you whether you want to use this format or not. If you, for example, untick both of these boxes here, then when people actually join your prize draw, they won't be asked to take that second step. As soon as they enter your prize draw, they'll be added to your list straight away. I must admit that is the option I tend to use most often, and I've never had any problems with that. But it'll be your choice as to whether you want to do that. If you decide you do want them to take that second step, it's actually the web subscriptions that we're using. You will then need to fill in this bottom section here, just because they will need to have a confirmation message, and this will be the message that they get. But I think most people probably won't actually use that option. Okay, so that's all we need to do in this section. The next thing we need to do now is create an autoresponder. So to do that, we need to mouse over where it says Messages and come down to Create Autoresponder and then click on that. And that brings us into this page here. Now, I won't go through all these different options at the top here. I'll just explain the one that we're using and why we're using that. So what you need to do, we're in Create Autoresponder. You need to click on the option that says Subscribed. Because what this is saying is if somebody subscribes to a particular list, we want an email sending out to them. So in our case, when they enter your competition, when they enter your prize draw, we want to send an email to them. So what we're saying is if subscriber signs up to your restaurant prize draws, if you remember, this is the autoresponder we've just actually set up, it's the campaign we've just set up. When they sign up to that, we want to send them a message immediately. So as soon as they've entered your prize draw, they will get an email from you. So whatever day they've signed up on, if for any particular reason you didn't want to have them on certain days, you'd untick those. But for our purposes, we want them to have the email as soon as they've signed up for the prize draw. So we keep all of those clicked, send immediately. Now we'll come back to this section in just a second. For the time being, let's give the autoresponder a name. So we'll say again something like entered prize draw, and then we'll just click the save button so that that is saved, and it then saying we need to create a new email. So what we now do is create the actual email that we are going to send to people as soon as they sign up for your prize draw. We click on there, and that brings us into this page here. So on this page, the things we need to fill in are, first of all, message name. This is again something just for yourself. This is just what you are calling this particular message. So it may be prize draw entry email. In this next section, This is the subject line of the email that the person will actually receive. So when they receive the email from you after they've entered the prize draw, this will be the subject line of that email. And one of the clever things we can do here with GetResponse is when anybody enters the prize draw, they will have given you their name and they would have also given you their email address. So we can personalize this email with their details. To do that, we just click in the box here and come over to personalize, and it gives you these options. If we choose first name, that puts the words first name in brackets there in your subject line. And very cleverly, what happens is every person this goes out to, so even if it's going out to 1,000 different people, GetResponse will replace this bit of code with the actual first name of the person. So if it's going out to somebody who entered called Jane, it will say Jane. It will say Steve, it will say whoever. So it's a very clever bit of code. So you can put whatever else you want in there. I would suggest your subject is something like Steve, your XYZ restaurant prize draw entry. So if it was something like that, and that's what the subject of the email will be. In the next box, this is the from email. So when they receive the email, it says it is from this email address. Now I would suggest for your restaurant, you change the reply to address, which you can do by clicking here. So that the name is your actual restaurant name, and then the email address is your restaurant email address. It's very easy to do here by just clicking the change reply to button. And the only other things we need to do on this page, in this bottom section here, you've got a choice of tracking click-throughs. Now this is worth leaving on because when you go into your GetResponse dashboard, you'll be able to see how many people have actually received your email and then click the links on it to go and do the actions that you're asking them to do. So at the moment I would suggest leaving that on. Unless you know what Google Analytics is and you're adding Google Analytics code into your GetResponse autoresponder, leave this button turned off here. And then we just need to go to next step. And that brings us into here. On this page, we can use the template. So this is a particular look that our email will have. And this is something that once you've designed, you can not only use for this email that's going out, but it can be the template for your restaurant email newsletter that you'll be sending out to your subscribers later. Now, because I'm actually creating this video in December, a lot of the templates they have here are Christmas ones, but you'll see down the left, there are lots of different options you could choose. There is specific ones done for restaurants. You click the restaurant link here. So there are a few different options here. If you like any of the look of these, you could use these templates. I think these are a little bit, for the email we want to send out at the moment, these are possibly too elaborate. So what I would suggest you do at this stage is actually come down the left hand side here and click on the link that says start from scratch. That will bring you through to here. And again, what I would suggest is you just click on this very first one here which says one column and go for use template. And that brings us to this page here. This page is where we build the actual email that will be sent out to people when they have entered the prize draw. And this side here is the email that they'll actually receive. These are the blocks of things that we can actually drag in to embellish this and to build different sections. And on the right hand side here is how it actually looks on a mobile phone. So obviously it will look pretty similar to this if they're looking at it on a computer, but it will also show what it looks like on a mobile phone. Obviously the text that's in here is just example text, so we're just going to remove that in a moment. The first thing we're going to do though is add an image at the top of the page. And this would make sense for this to be either an image of your restaurant or the logo of the restaurant. And all you actually do to add something here, assuming you've got the image you want actually on your computer somewhere, you click choose image and it will come up with this section here. Now these are stock images that you are welcome to use if you want to. There's a lot of them, so you just choose one and say use image. So if there is a relevant one, you're welcome to do that. And these are all here. These are what are supplied free of charge by GetResponse for you to be able to use any way you like in your emails. But for our purposes, we want to use our own image. So we click on My Images. Now, for speed, I've actually uploaded one here that we're going to use in our example. But all you would actually do is click the Upload from Computer button, and then from the box that pops up, find the actual image on your computer itself, click Add, and it will actually bring it then into this section here. So when it's in this section, there's one you want to use, you simply click on it, Use Image, and it will then enter it here at the top of your email. The next thing we want to do is amend the text here. This is the main body text of the email and the title. What I normally do is just click at the body of text there and just bring that down a little bit. We've then got all of this text here that we want to just get rid of, and I would suggest you don't need anything more than, let's just get rid of some of that, some text saying your prize draw entry has been received. That's it. And then for all of the text here, I'm just going to keep a couple of words and just get rid of everything else. Just keeping a couple of words, if I actually start my new text in the middle here now, it just keeps the same font and the same layout, so it's easier than deleting it all and then finding you've got to select a font. So it's just a little time saving option there. So what I'm going to do first is put a greeting at the top. So I'm going to make that hi. Once we've got our words there, we can go right back to the start there. So that's it. So we know we can now type that in that format. Now what I'm going to do is, if you remember that personalization code we had before, which is first name like that. So I'm going to start it with that. If you can't remember what that code is, I tend to type it because I've done it quite a few times. But you could also do it here by clicking, let me just bring it down somewhere separate, we'll try it there. If you want that personalization code, you just need to have written in hi yourself or hello or whatever you want your greeting to be. And see this little button here, it looks like a man's body. If you click on there, again it will give you the option to come down, click on first name, and that would enter it in there for you. So just where you want it to be in your message. And again, that would be replaced with the person's actual name who signed up for the competition. Okay, can I get rid of that without? So when we've got the greeting at the top there, what we need to do now is add the wording for the body of the email. Now I'm not going to sit here and type it and let you watch that, so I'll just actually paste that in now to save time. Okay, I've restarted the video now because I've just pasted in the wording that I want to put in there. So what we're really looking to do here is just tell the people that enter that we are now confirming their entry into the restaurant prize draw has been received. We'll be in touch again if they're one of the lucky winners. And in this case, I'm also saying if you've shared the prize draw with your friends, you'll receive 5 extra entries into the draw for every friend that enters 2. You can return at any time to this page to see how many entries you've got, or to tell more friends about the prize draw. And the more friends you tell, the more chance you've got of winning the meal for 2. And what we're going to do, it just here says you can return at any time to this page. And what we need to do here is highlight that and then click on this little link button here at the top, and that then pops up a URL. You'll then need to put in the web address of the page that you actually want them to send them to. So this will be the page on your website. I know we've not set this up yet in our demonstration, but this is something you'll need to look at and come back and amend later, so that there is that proper link there for them. So what happens is when they receive the email, they will see that there is a page they can go to see how many entries they've actually received. So that is all the wording for that email. You can obviously change this wording however you see fit and whatever you think is best for your particular needs. Then the other thing I'm going to do here, you could make that do. That could be all you have in your email. That would be perfectly fine. But what I would tend to do here is you can also go for this where it says my button. You can drag that across and it will bring a button to here. Now if we then double click on that button, it will give you several different options. If you put in button URL, when anyone clicks that button, you can put in the URL that will take them to. So you can, for example, just put in your main website web address. Put in the name of your restaurant there, for example. If you want a different colour, you can just simply click on the drop down button there and choose any colour you like. I've just chosen, for example, if you drag this here, you can choose any colour you like. So if we wanted to have that colour for our button, then we can do that. Whichever colour you want. We'll do it as a grey colour for now, but you can choose whatever you want. And also you can change the wording, so it might be, you might want that to say click here to visit our website. I normally leave the little arrow in there, so that will come at the bottom of your email and we'll say click here to visit our website. It might be click here to see our new menu, click here to see whatever you want. But it's another way when they receive the email of getting them to then straight away come back to your website. So when you've got this email looking how you want, you look on the right hand side here. This is how it would look on a mobile phone. As you can see, they all resize perfectly well. All those different things there, the button at the bottom, you've still got the link that is live. So when everything's done, what I would tend to do is hover over where it says save as and click draft. That just saves it so you know it's there then as a draft. And that's everything we need to do on there, so we can click next step. That brings us back to this page here that you saw before, where we chose that we were having an autoresponder. When somebody subscribes, it signs them up to our drawer, sends a message immediately to them on every single day. This is now the message that we are going to send. All we then need to do is click save and publish. And that is everything done. If you come to the bottom of this page, this isn't a time-based autoresponder we've set up, so it won't be there. It'll be an action-based autoresponder at the bottom. So it's just showing the confirmation of that. If you wanted to change anything on there at any point, let me just show you how you'd actually find this again. You'd look at messages. This is now manage autoresponders because we've set up an autoresponder. Click on manage, brings you to this page. Then at the bottom, it would show action-based autoresponders. And if you hover over this little cog here, you could then click on, it won't let me do it, there we go. Click on edit and that will take you in again if you wanted to ever change any of the wording. So what we've done there, we've set up, when somebody enters your prize draw, we've set up an autoresponder that will send them automatically an email saying that they've entered and showing them what's going to happen, showing them some other links, etc. What we're going to do now is actually create a web form, and this web form is what will actually go onto your prize draw page so that the people can enter the prize draw and be automatically added to your email list. So to do that, we're going to click on web forms or mouse over web forms here and then create new. That brings us to the create a web form page. Now again here they give you lots of different templates so you can make this look exactly how you want to. We're going to choose one at random. When I'm actually adding this into the restaurant marketing solution, I actually use a plain one because that's all the details that I actually need within my form, but you may decide to have one that's a little bit different. So I'll actually choose this one here, I think, just as the one to use for our sample. So, but once you choose one, let me just come back a stage. You can choose any of these. You can look at, they've got 164 you can choose. So you could actually go through all of these, choose one that you like the look of. When you do, I'll still stick to the same one. Just click on it. It will open up here. You could also even change that for colours that you think are relevant to your website. When you've chosen the one you like, click apply. That will then bring it here for you in the middle of the screen. There are lots of functions of the form that you can decide to include if you want to, and all of these are, you can toggle these on or off at the bottom here. I'm going to keep to some of the basic ones just to make this simple to show you, but if you want to include these, for example, if you wanted to include, this says powered by, so it will say email marketing by GetResponse. You can turn that off just by clicking there. If you wanted to have a counter to show how many people have entered your competition in total or how many subscribers you've got on your list, you click that button there. But again, it's not very good to have it if it says 0, so I would actually have that turned off if I were you. You can put a headline in here. All you want to do, if there's any of these you want to keep in there and you want to edit it, you click on the button at the left and it will open up, and it then says headline. So I don't know, as might want to say enter here for example. So you just change it in there. You can change the colours, you can change the font, you can change the size, anything you want to. Just click the apply button and it will change here. If you wanted to have a footer, this one includes a footer at the moment, it's just a white footer, but again, if you wanted to change that, if you wanted some wording on it or something, you can change that if you want to. But we'll just leave it. In fact, I'll take the footer off it because we don't need that at the moment. So when you've got the form just looking how you want it there, so effectively these are the things we would want if somebody's entering our prize draw. We'd want them to enter their name, their email address, and then press a sign up button. We might in our case want to change the words, instead of sign up to enter, so they enter the competition, and that's all we'd need to do there. We then come through to the next step. That brings you to this page when it's fully loaded. Web form name is just a name that we want to give this particular form, so this could just be prize draw sign up form. You can call it whatever you'd like. Confirmed opt-in is what we talked about before, whether you want people to confirm and have a second link to click to say that they want to be added to your list. That's something we decided on earlier, so we don't need to look at that now. Subscription via Facebook is a great facility to use, but it won't work with what we're trying to do at the moment. So you may want to look at that for other places to use on your website, but for our prize draw we don't want to use that function, so we'll just come past that, leave that turned off, and then we'll come down the page here. The thank you page. When somebody has entered your competition or your prize draw, you need to let them know that their entry has been received. And so the way that is done is with some of these options here. If we say stay on the current page and click that option, what will happen is the page that they enter on, they will stay on that very same page, and a little note will come up for them saying your entry has been received. That is one option. The second one is that we have a custom thank you page, and so this would be a separate page that you would set up on your website. It might be your website name.co.uk/thank you, for example. And what happens is when they've subscribed, when they've entered your prize draw, they're taken straight to this page, and all that you would have on there is some wording saying thank you, you have subscribed, or you have entered the prize draw. You could have other links on there, more details about your restaurant, etc. But primarily that would just take them straight to this thank you page. And so this would be a page you'd need to set up before this point so that you know exactly what web address to put in here. So you would then just need to actually put in your restaurant name.co.uk / and then the page name. You may call it thanks.html or something like that. So you would need to tell them what page name that's going to go to and enter that there. And we then hit next step. On this page, this is quite simply where we get the code that we have now created, and we're then going to later put this actually into our website. But all we need to look at here is there's a few different options. These don't really change here, but it's either I will install my web form or my web designer will install my web form. If I click I will install my web form, you've then got two options here of either JavaScript code or HTML code. If you know the difference to those, you'll know which one of those you're going to want to use. If you don't know the difference, I would suggest you stick to the show JavaScript code because it's so much simpler. And then there's just a little bit of code here that you will need to copy, and we will be using that later when we've actually created a web page. So in the meantime, you can either leave this page open so you can come back to this and grab it later, or you could just highlight it like that, Control C on your keyboard, or alternatively highlight it by dragging your mouse over it, right click, and then go to, you can't actually see it, I think it's just off the screen, but we're looking to copy, so click on copy, and that will actually save that. So you could just save that on in a text document or something somewhere, because we will be using that later. And that's it for now. That is all we need to do within GetResponse to create the email system side. So we've opened an account with GetResponse. We have then created an autoresponder within GetResponse. We've put in your email that will be sent to people when they enter the prize draw, and then we have created a form that will later go onto the website that people can actually enter the prize draw through. So that's the end of this video, and we'll go on from here to the next video where we'll actually set up your prize draw page.